Welcome to Manufacturing Tech Australia with Shane Williams and Paul Mason.
Kheang, thanks for coming on Manufacturing Tech Australia.
Good to be here.
Excellent. So, I mean, this is a great example of Aussie technology and innovation. I love this. Keeping people safe in the air, testing aircrafts, stress on aircraft wings and all this kind of stuff. I think you can explain it a little bit better than me, but right. Tell us what this is all about and what problem you're solving here.
Yeah, all right. So this all started back sort of mid-2000s. The guys at Defence, they kept encountering this really, recurring problem.
Yeah.
Right? We have a fleet of fighter jets. We have to fly them in a particular way.
Yeah.
And even though manufacturers will certify them to survive or work in certain environments, we just don't trust them.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's imperative that with our fighter jets, we just test them anyway.
Yeah.
Right. And so we'll go through full structural fatigue tests to make sure that the fighters will survive the environments that we fly them in.
Yeah.
And part of that process is to start with a simulation.
Yeah.
And this simulation will give you a stress map of what the structure, what the aircraft will perform like.
Yeah.
And what we kept finding is that where these simulations would predict you'd have problems was never actually where you'd have problems.
Right.
Right. And it's a difficult one, right? Because you're relying on a computer program, but the computer program isn't real life.
Yeah.
And so the idea was, could we actually see stress, the actual stress?
Yeah.
And so the guys at Defence had actually developed an initial system way back based on a really expensive thermal camera.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's this concept out there that says if you can see really small temperature differences, you can see stress.
Yeah.
Right? The only problem is there's actually no thermal camera out in the world that has that kind of sensitivity.
Right.
Right? So they actually developed one with a really expensive scientific grade camera, which worked, but was never used.
Yeah.
All right. And so mid-2000s, our F/A-18s were coming to end of life.
Yeah.
And the replacements, the F-35s, they're only just coming into action now.
Yeah.
So there was this big time lag about and we had a decision to make about what we were going to do. And so the decision from the Australian Air Force was to try and extend the life of the F/A-18s.
Okay.
And so that gave birth to this idea, what if we could build a small enough, a simple enough, rugged thermal camera that could see stress, that would allow us to understand how these airframes would perform as we push them beyond their usable life.
Yeah.
Right? And so about 18 months of development and some really smart scientists at Defence, and they came up with a system that really worked and worked extremely well, right? Beyond our expectations.
Okay.
Right? And so we've now commercialized that technology.
Yeah.
Right? And it is now a system that's used right throughout the Defence Department here in Australia.
Yeah.
And our goal now is to actually get the rest of the world, all right, to actually use the technology as well.
Right. And maybe can you show us the stress, the heat map here you were showing us before?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we've got on the screen at the moment is our software, and this is the camera. Right. Yeah. We have a little test rig because if we're going to show you stress, we do need to apply stress on something.
Yeah.
Right. So this little experimental setup here is just applying a bit of bending stress.
Yeah.
So
sort of simulating a wing kind of thing.
Pretty much. This is a little simulation of an F-111 wing.
Yeah.
Before I get going, I'm just going to show you the live feed.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, there is no thermal camera in the world that is sensitive enough to see stress. And you can see right now, right, the stress along this part there, but the camera can't pick it up.
Yeah, right. Hang on, how stressed am I?
There we go, you got nice warm hands.
There we go.
So it's all good. Right. But the key, I guess the difference here is we feed into our camera the frequency at which we load.
Yeah.
Right? Because the general concept is when you put something in compression, you get a small temperature increase. You put it into tension, you get a small temperature decrease. Right? These are extremely small though, in the order of only a few millikelvin.
Yep.
Right? Which is sort of why we call ourselves 1 millikelvin.
Perfect.
If you can resolve those sorts of temperature differences, you'll be able to see the stress.
Yep.
So once we feed the frequency into the camera, we know where to look. We can find all the temperature changes which happen just in phase with that loading.
Right.
Right. So as I press start, what you'll see is we'll go through a process.
Yep.
So I call this a semi-live stress imaging process, because what we have to do is first grab a block of video.
Yeah.
So in this case, about 12 seconds or so of video in this case. And we'll look through every single frame and only pull out the temperature changes which happen at every compression and tension cycle.
Right.
Right. Everything else we're going to average out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The only other small thing I have to do is I'll maximize this to make it easier. This particular contraption has a bit of a delay, so I'm just going to correct for the delay.
Yep.
Right. So with a single point of the button, I've corrected for the delay,
Okay.
and now I have a stress image.
Right.
Right. So the image we saw just a second ago, I'll just clean it up a bit just so you can see a bit more detail.
Yeah.
You couldn't see any stress at all, but now we can see, in this case, we'll put the color scale so that the warmer hues, the yellows, the reds, the whites, are tension.
Yep.
Right. And that's because tension is the killer in aerospace.
Yep.
Right? We care about that more than compression.
Yep.
But we can see now, down through the stiffness, the load path, right? All the stress is going through that, and the peak stresses are happening here and here.
Yeah, it makes total sense. You can see it on here as well. It's kind of where you'd expect it to be.
Exactly. And so what will happen is we keep grabbing more cycles, so
Yeah.
more blocks. We're up to 4 now. This image will just keep getting cleaner and cleaner and cleaner.
Okay.
Right? And once you've got this, you now have the real stress.
Yep.
You can then take it back to your modelers,
Yep.
right? And look at your FEA and improve it.
So it's like adding that digital thread back into the
Exactly.
to the digital twin, right? A
Correct.
real life representation of your simulation.
No, exactly. And that's sort of the holy grail. Everybody wants to design digitally, right?
Yeah.
If you can get to the point where you've got full confidence in your digital models, right, then you can iterate, you can apply new designs.
Yeah.
But the important part is just getting that foundation right,
Yeah.
right?
So I guess there's a couple of elements to that, isn't there? So you've got your simulation, your design, your planning side,
Yeah.
but also when this stuff hits the field, you've got aircraft up in the air
Yeah.
that you want to bring in and test and make sure there's no airline fractures and things like that and cracks. But like you're saying before, the beauty about this is it's compact, it's low
Correct.
cost, it's accessible, it's usable by sort of anyone. Whereas before, you've got this big, complex, expensive gear that you can't really roll the
No, correct.
roll the plane in under this complex testing gear. So now something as small as this could effectively analyze real world aircraft.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the things we did recently with the guys at Defence, they did a project where they took, again, a big section of airframe,
Yeah.
and whilst it was going to go through the full life cycle, full scale fatigue testing, they spent the first couple of weeks just doing a baseline stress image.
Okay.
Right. The final results was about 100 million stress points of the entire structure.
Gee.
Right. And what that does is it gives you a baseline. Now you know exactly which locations on that complex structure are likely to have problems ongoing.
Yeah.
So instead of, say, monitoring the entire structure, you now know the key locations just to monitor.
Yeah,
Right?
wow.
So you could place a couple of cameras, that would be the ideal in the future, just to monitor those sections. But even if you were just placing strain gauges,
Yeah.
right, at least you know where to place them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess moving forward, what's the next steps for this? I guess get this into production, get it out there to, I guess, improve the efficiency of analysing stress through all aircraft out there, right?
Absolutely. This is model one. This is product one. This demonstrates and it gives to the world, right, a clear capability to see stress. So we expect that a lot of materials testing labs, especially in the aerospace industry, we're using this sort of product to do all their coupon testing, the component testing, right up to full scale, right, if they have multiple cameras. But the next goal for us is to start miniaturizing,
Yeah.
right? Because as you miniaturize, you can start to monitor,
Yeah.
right? And so what we'll do is, as we miniaturize the equipment, we'll also bring the smarts on board as well.
Yeah.
So today, the camera is connected to a computer that runs our software.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, the camera will be self-contained,
Right.
right? So then we could realistically have multiple systems monitoring critical locations, all making its own decisions.
Yeah. And you mentioned before about it being sort of low cost thermal imaging camera technology.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be cooled or anything like that.
Correct.
Reducing the cost, whereas out there at the moment that doesn't exist. So I guess that's another element there.
Yeah,
making it a bit
absolutely.
easier.
Yeah, as I mentioned, like the idea of using a thermal camera to see stress isn't new.
Yeah.
Except what is new is the idea to use a cheap in our terms,
Lower cost.
uncooled thermal camera to do it.
Yeah.
All the attempts prior to us had always been based around a very expensive cooled photonic sensor.
Yeah.
So these are the sort of sensors you'll see, like JSF has multiple of these sensors used just to do the night vision and those sorts of things. Super sensitive, super expensive, and usually use for science type applications.
Yeah.
Right? Those things complex to use, big, bulky, right? And it was no wonder that they will only ever treat it like a research tool.
Yeah.
Right? We want to see this used as an actual industrial tool.
Yeah.
Right? Something that anybody can just put on there, clamp on, press start, and start getting a stress image.
Fantastic. Great Aussie technology.
It is.
Soon to be all over the world, I reckon.
Oh, that's it.
So
That's it.
great. Thanks for coming on the show, Kheang.
Cheers, Paul.
Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in to Manufacturing Tech Australia with Shane and Paul, recorded on the traditional lands of the Bunurong and Wurundjeri people. For more information, jump on the manufacturingtech.au website. Remember to hit the follow button to join us again next time as we continue to explore the intersection of manufacturing and technology.